say.
But it's a good start, really. Congrats. Okay, so I think we are going to start. Lisa, if you want
Yeah,
to.
I already started the recording.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
so Ivan, thank you again for presenting, and we leave you on the floor.
Oh, of course. Thank you very much, Karin. My name is Ivan Wong-Veros. I am the inbound mobility coordinator of NEBRIJA University, or Universidad NEBRIJA, as is in Spanish. And welcome to our session and presentation of what we offer. I'm very excited to tell you about what we have on offer for international students. We're a university that values a lot the international dimension and having students over. So thank you again for attending. Um, let's take a look here. Okay, so my office of international mobility is divided in, as many other offices in other universities, into incoming, outgoing, and things related to Erasmus. Nebrija University, we are based in the heart of Madrid, along where there's a number of other prestigious universities. But we are a privately run institution, so it was established in 1995. We are named after Mr. Elio Antonio Nebrija, who was a philology professor who studied in Salamanca, the famous Salamanca University, and wrote the first published grammatical lexicon for Spanish, actually. The roots of the university itself are actually in the Hispanic Studies Center, which is right adjacent to the Princesa campus of the university, and it opened itself in 1985. This Hispanic Studies Center actually still exists, and we work hand in hand with them, but they're not actually using the same staff as the university, which is a bit curious. We're a university that is extremely proud of our offering. We're highly focused, as you can see, on relevant training for the job market, something that every year that goes by, we know that is a very relevant and very concerning topic on the minds of many students. We're proudly based on a number of core principles, specifically with the following tenets in mind. So, academic excellence with personalized teaching in small groups, usually, I don't know, 20 or so. The closeness between the teachers and students, and the meeting of relevant people from the academic and professional world. We also focus on pedagogical innovation with spaces of knowledge, or what they called areas of knowledge and employment to be creative. Enterprise, we try to be very enterprising in this area as well. And we interact in the university sector with a number of key partners, in addition to the employment sector. So, for example, the automobile sector, performing arts, international relations, communications areas, basically business and industries that touch those places. Our internationalization, again, is important. So we are always trying to encourage at least bilingualism among our international students in Madrid and with programs abroad. And having this dimension is one of the essential experiences before finishing the studies. We also provide orientation, going back for a moment to this internationalization and employability, orientation towards professions. So internships are very important as well in companies and institutions for all students. And we have a set of transversal classes which are shared between the different degrees and programs in order to give practical a set of abilities apart from the theoretical abilities to our students. So, we have a firm commitment with companies, again, in terms of training and developing professional skills. It also guarantees the quality of the internships for the students, so that we can basically allow our students to have their ambitions grow and for them to be more intellectually challenged on a practical level during the university phase. We are a pioneer in terms of our internships. So we do actually incorporate internships in all study plans starting from the second academic year and focusing on the necessary abilities and competences to integrate in the job market even from the first year in terms of theory. That's also one of the reasons why we're highly ranked in Spain for quality of teaching and employability. Basically, we're been number one ranked in teaching, and number two ranked in employability according to U ranking, which is created by the BBVA Bank Foundation and the Instituto Valenciano de Investigaciones Económicas, which is the Valencian Institution of Economic Investigation. So as part of our quality stamp, so to speak, we have something called the NEBRIJA contract. So it's a three-way commitment, as you can see here, between the university students and best companies and institutions to make sure that these elements are always tied together and that there's a closeness. Again, as it says here, learning as a profession is not just having the tools to practice it. It is is a necessary experience to be the most sought after professional. Okay, so a little bit of numbers when it comes to the universities. We have 30 undergraduate degrees, more than 30 master's degrees, over 1,000 professors and investigators, 10,738 total students. That is this term that's finishing. This past academic year. 4 campuses, 260 visiting students from last academic year, over 190 international education agreements, which are always growing and evolving. The high employability rate, 3,701 total internship opportunities. Again, this is a growing number. And of course, we value a lot of closeness between teacher and students. At this time, we have students from more than 72 nationalities. Okay, so regarding the offering for you exchange students, basically our international mobility program is divided into 2 areas. What's offered through NEBRIJA University itself, which are called integrated programs, and what is offered through our Hispanic Studies Center. Again, it's a center that's adjacent and parallel to us, but it really has their own offering, staff, and processes. But we at the International Mobility Office, especially myself, channel all of your requests through one method, basically one pipeline, and I can then pass everything over to Hispanic Study Centers or NEBRIJA University. So I am your main contact in any case. And in terms of the integrated programs, as you can see, we have them in 4 main categories. They are social sciences, arts and letters, communication sciences, and the Polytechnic School. In your case, I believe that students from EDH will be most interested in communication sciences. Offered through the Hispanic Studies Center, we have a Hispanic Studies program, which is much more cultural in nature and in order to improve your language ability. So people who go there basically are not as concerned to add credits onto their academic enrollment or their transcript, but of course they are worth 6 ECTS. And the integrated programs also in general, each program is worth 6 ECTS. When you make an enrollment with us, the general course load is 4 or 5 programs or 4 or 5 modules, which means that you would have a course load for one semester of between 24 and 30 ECTS. If you're interested in coming over, you need to manage with your coordinator nominations and paperwork before June the 1st for the following beginning class year or academic year starting in September, or October the 15th if you want to come in second semester, which for us starts in January or beginning of February, such as what is happening now, which we will be starting second semester very briefly. As you can see at the bottom, even though if you do integrated programs, you are allowed to add a single Spanish language module, which is taught through the Hispanic Studies Center, but it it is parallel to your existing academic studies if you choose that route of integrated programs, and runs parallel to your studies. Okay, so again, through the communication sciences program, you can choose audiovisual communications, journalism. You see the entire offering there: advertising and public relations, corporate communications, marketing, digital and multimedia design, performing arts, fine arts, and fashion design. It's very important to take into a note that when you choose an integrated program, you can choose freely from between the degrees or classes of any of the degrees, and mix and match even academic years within each of the degrees, but it has to conform to the semester of your stay. That is to say, the class has to be, if you're coming in second semester, from second semester, and first semester has to be only first semester classes, because they do not repeat. Also, one very important thing to take into account is you cannot mix classes from communication science, for example, into degrees with degrees of another integrated program, such as, for example, as you see on the right, social sciences or the Polytechnic School or arts and letters. Once a student, an exchange student, chooses an integrated program, they need to stay within that integrated program. Okay, so our campuses. Princesa is our main campus, basically for the social sciences, communication sciences, and arts and letter programs. The majority of classes take place at the campus itself, although there are some classes which are moved over to the Joaquin Maria Lopez building, which is about 10 to 15 minutes walk away from the Princesa campus, so pretty close as well. So you can see the statistics there in terms of classrooms, spaces. At this time, because of COVID, there's some more restrictions in terms of some of the services that can be used. We don't yet have a dedicated cafeteria or cantina in Princesa, but it's something that's being worked on right now because the university is still in expansion. The Joaquin Maria Lopez at least has a dedicated dining area in addition to all this. All campuses do have at least one dedicated computer lab. They have multifunction copiers, and they have, of course, a dedicated student Wi-Fi network. Again, the Hispanic Studies Center is right next to the Princesa campus, and that's where you do your Spanish language module, or where you would do, along with Joaquin Maria Lopez, the Hispanic Studies program. Okay, so Dehesa de la Villa, this is the main campus for our Polytechnic students who are doing engineering, basically, and architecture. It is in a more isolated arboreal pocket of Madrid Central, 30 minutes walk away from Princesa campus in a university-centric area. It used to be an old orphanage, and it's shared by another university, actually, now. One wing is ours with another's theirs. And below that, you have the Berzosa campus, which is our historic and original campus. It is actually the only campus that is slightly outside of the center of Madrid itself, and requires a bus to be taken from our Moncloa interchange, bus station exchange, and it does go with a certain regular frequency. So generally, there's no problem in terms of getting there as well. So in terms of housing, NEBRIJA University has 3 university residences in the city of Madrid, with a number of places for international students. It is advisable to make a reservation with plenty of time in advance, as usually the places are limited. Although in this COVID period, there has been more availability than usual. Naturally. The university also offers housing in families in Madrid. If you choose this option, you can choose between full board and half board. Students with full board will have 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Those who have half board will have 2 meals a day, which is breakfast and either lunch or dinner. Families under our homestay program are located in Madrid near a metro station or bus stop at a maximum distance of about 40 minutes to the university. They offer laundry, change of sheets and towels, and cleaning of your room once a week. And all of these homestay options or families have an obligation to have good Wi-Fi. Finally, we also share some trusted online rental portals and resources in Madrid for basically shared accommodation or for renting an entire flat. We have a good partner of ours, City Life Madrid, who also assists students in terms of housing and further information, immigration, and in terms of getting adapted to Madrid. As you can see, the pricing there for 2019 and 20 gives you a good idea of what to expect if you choose any of these options. The more economically friendly option is the rental market, and that actually tends to be the option most selected by exchange students. Okay, so let's move on for a moment to extracurricular and our support network. We have the sports service, which is in charge of managing and organizing all of the university sports activities. For 2020, this second semester, 21, and looking forward to 21-22, we have in the very least those sports that you see on the left. So football, volleyball, paddle, racket, and running. But we usually have a selection more. So that's in the very least. There's also a number of student associations you can join during your time here. You're open to join into them, although some may have a fee. Note, though, that in general, credits are not given for their participation. So you have the voluntary club, the international club, the cinema club, theater, travel, so on and so forth. There's a buddy club that I'll mention a little bit more, which is very is quite unique. And then, of course, you have a number of individual activities like Pilates that are offered and are published and are open to you. You can also go on the famous Camino de Santiago, which this year, because of COVID, ironically, it's not in hostels. It's actually in better conditions in hotels with your own room. So at least that's one good thing that actually COVID has provided. Then you also have a specialized the clubs such as the Nature and Adventure Club, which Spain has a lot to offer in terms of nature and variety, and for trekking and so on and so forth, and for canoeing. Oh, sure. Actually, I'll go back and just mention one thing. There's another club that I forgot to mention, which is the International Club. It offers a varied and interesting calendar of cultural activities every month. And I should actually mention this talk about it a little bit more, because the mission of the club is especially to promote and stimulate cultural exchange among students. So this may be of a special interest to exchange and visiting students. They create a menu of activities basically every month at least. Although, of course, because of COVID, they had to cut this down, the frequency every month, but there's still a decent selection. Okay, so we also have, as I mentioned, the Buddy Club and the Psychopedagogical Office. And this Psychopedagogical Office is for adaptation purposes, stress and emotional issues which you may have, and to assist you in terms of getting better at balancing your academic and personal life, study habits, so on and so forth, and stress. Even as you can see there, in terms of relationships which you may create during your time here, and to help you deal with any risks or any addictions which may start to show up as a result of certain activities or while you're here, or anything that's pre-existing as well. So you have this additional support. And the Buddy Club pairs up international students with a regular full-time student from NEBRIJA for basically any kind of support, both socially, which the Buddy Club also offers a number of activities to do with your buddy to get to know Madrid and get to know the city, in addition to knowing the intimate details of the campus. They know the day-to-day quirks. They're a great support. So, coming to Madrid, Madrid is a great place. Doesn't matter whether we're in COVID or not. There's tons of things to do, and even with what's happening right now and all the restrictions, there's still lots that you can take advantage of. Basically, one of the reasons why is because the vibrant life here is kind of tied to the deep Spanish cultural expectation for socializing out of doors. Also, Spanish gastronomy is fairly legendary and goes much above and beyond stereotypes such as paella and gazpacho. So, yes, COVID has impacted necessarily food and cultural services, but all businesses are making a concerted effort to maintain as much service as possible. At the moment, to give you an idea of the kinds of restrictions for COVID in Madrid, the nighttime curfew has been adjusted to be from 2200 hours or 10 p.m. Until 6 a.m., with hotels and stores closing at 9 p.m. at this time, which is still quite late for a lot of people who are not Spanish. It is currently not allowed for people, and this is a bit of a, excuse the expression, a bummer for a lot of students. Not allowed for people to visit each other at their homes unless it's for elderly care. But again, that's in their homes. Like I said, a lot of Spanish do their things out of doors or at bars or going and experiencing places together, museums, parks, events, right? So, thanks to our global campus team, we have been ahead of the curve and very agile in terms of transitioning to a blended format of teaching for the purposes of maintaining social distancing. So this blended technology, which probably has been adapted even in your university, is very common. In our case, we call it the hybrid methodology. But because we're quite technologically advanced and one of the most technologically at the forefront in terms of private universities, well, universities in general in Spain, we adapted very quickly. So on March the 12th, authorities first decreed the closure of education centers. And just only 24 hours later, all NEBRIJA students were able to follow their courses online thanks to the telepresence class system. And this system had a participation level of greater of 75% from the very beginning. Since then, we've provided special training regarding the hybrid format, which combines now both in class and out of class learning. We have given over 26 sessions to 806 professors, and many measures were put in place. Such as social distancing, obviously at 1.5 meters at least. You have to wash your hands, lots of hand sanitizers, extra masks and gloves, tips such as cleaning your mobile phone frequently. The students have to maintain the same seats in class. Food is not allowed in unauthorized spaces at least. Items on tables and desks were removed, as well as extra perishable items such as plastic cups and extra napkins. Personal waste disposal bins were removed and were in favor of centralized bins. We've even provided, for example, one-way foot traffic direction markers on the floor to reduce unnecessary movement within buildings. Doors are left open if possible or reasonable so that people don't touch the handles. And of course, as is in the rest of public society in Madrid and many places, the obligatory face mask use. In addition to that, there's no smoking on campus to top that all off. So we try to be very careful in terms of COVID restrictions for the times when students in the hybrid methods need to come on campus. So regarding technological innovations, with the help of our global campus team, the university has implemented in almost all classrooms computers built into the lectern. Okay, roboticized cameras with 304-degree angle and 5 positions, audio bars that integrate 12 omnidirectional microphones, an interactive digital whiteboard incorporating a speaker, a 16-inch high-definition graphics tablet with controller and stylus, and another projector or television in the back of the classroom, so that face-to-face students in class can see the transmission of the students attending online. So we're quite advanced in regards to that. So that's it for the presentation. I know that I may have run a little bit more time than I really intended, but I wanted to see if you have any questions. I know I kind of inundated you with information. So
Thank you, Ivan. It was really interesting, actually. Yeah, but yeah, long but very interesting.
yeah, so I'm sorry about that. Apologies.
It's okay, no problem. So, do you have any questions for Ivan? You can turn on your microphone, no problem. Oh, en español también, si quieren
Yeah,
hablar en
opportunity
español.
to practice because we do encourage using
Yeah.
Spanish a lot at the university,
Exactly.
and a lot of material is still in Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, I have a question.
Yes, of course.
This is Naima.
Mhm.
I don't speak a word of Spanish. Am I going to feel lost inside the university?
Well, I'll be very honest. In COVID times right now, there's been a reduction, an important reduction in groups in English, which has caused some issues for students wanting to have full enrollment in Spanish. In regular times, this is not an issue at all, because we have more than enough international students to compose fully English study plans. But while COVID is around, you do need to take into account that 100% English enrollment is not guaranteed. And we do strongly recommend at this time following our guideline of having at least some medium level of Spanish to come over. So, Umaima, yes, at this time, it's best to come over if you have some intermediate level of Spanish. There are still obviously a lot of material that is in English, a lot of internationality at the university in terms of other students. So in terms of being lost on a social level, you probably wouldn't be. On an academic level, though, you would need to think that you'll be following at least some classes at an intermediate or advanced intermediate level.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, my presentation was very long and I provided a lot of information. But...
I think that's why they don't have any question. You already said everything. So
I mean, well, hold on. I mean, I don't want to cut anybody off. Anybody else wants to say anything?
I don't think so.
No, I would just add that if you have any questions, please send me an email. That is at iwong, W-O-N-G, that's Ivan Wong, so my first letter of my name, iwong, at nebrija.es. And of course, when it comes to the nomination itself, you, of course, need to manage that through your coordinator.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they will apply in beginning of February, and then by mid-March, they will know if they are accepted or not. So.
Of course.
All right. So thank you very much, Ivan, for attending this event. So I've recorded the session. I will send it to you afterwards, and we will also share it with the student who couldn't join today.
Yes, all right. Of course. And again, apologies that it went longer than I expected, but I hope that you all.
It's okay. Now we have a last session at 6. It just started, so and then the event will be finished. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know that I'm not too guilty of making everything extremely delayed.
No problem. So. It's okay. Okay. So have a good evening.
You too. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Bye.